Hello, and welcome to another edition of To Quota and Beyond. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Zapier, and in particular, Zapier's push functionality that you can install on a Chrome web browser to help you speed up and automate a lot of the manual tasks that you do. So I'm going to walk through about 3 different examples that I'm currently using, and then also that will give you some inspiration about how you potentially could think about automating some of these repeatable tasks. At the end of the day, we only have the same amount of time in each day, and it's when you can automate some of these small tasks, even if it feels like it's just 3 or 4 seconds at a time, they compound every day, week, month, and year. And time is very precious, as you know, within sales. So I'm going to dive straight into it. So Zapier is a tool that allows you to connect one tool to another, and you can actually create multiple automations by connecting multiple tools together in what's known as a Zap. And a Zap is essentially some logic, which is if this happens, then do that. Probably the simplest way that I can explain what Zapier is and how it works. So I'm going to show you 3 examples right now. And the first one is one that I use quite often, and this is unenrolling a prospect from a sales follow-up. So after I've had a sales call, I put somebody into an automated follow-up sequence. But if I get an email from them to tell me that they are interested in moving forward, or they tell me that they're not going to move forward, I obviously don't want to send those follow-ups to them on that automatic basis. So what you can see here is the back end of Zapier, and what it has here is a trigger, and the trigger is a push, and I need to input the field email, and then after that happens, then there's an action. So if an email is added in for this push, then the action is to unroll somebody from a sequence in Gemelius, which is the tool that I'm just using for email follow-up post-discovery call. And it's pulling through the field from the first step as well. So that's how it works. It's pulling through the email field that I'm going to put in the first step to the second step, and it's going to unenroll them from the sequence. We can see it here. So how does that happen in real life? Well, I'll just quickly go back to Zapier here, and you'll notice that I've got the little Chrome extension up here called Zapier. When I click this, it loads up the Zaps that I've already built, and I've got unenrolled prospect from follow-up, and then all I need to do is type in the prospect's email, or I could paste it in from the email that I've received from them to be a bit quicker, hit send, and it's done. That prospect is now unenrolled from the sequence, and they won't get any more follow-up emails from that particular sequence, because that's the rules that I've set up and told Zapier to do. So here are some other examples where you potentially use it in your prospecting. One example here is what happens when you find kind of potential prospects or people that you want to connect with, maybe from a partnership point of view on LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you how you can save all of these profiles to a spreadsheet, so that when you're batching your work, you can go through and connect with these people or follow up with them as well. So I've gone through, and in this example, I want to connect and prospect to facilities managers. So I'm on the profile of Jacob here, and all I'm going to do again is click on this icon here. I'm going to select the Zap that I'm looking for, and now I'm putting in the reason. Now the reason is for me. It's something that I'm using as my reasons for following up. Sales outreach. So I'm just going to copy that now, hit send, and in just a few seconds you'll see that there's a green tick, and I'll show you where these go in a spreadsheet in just a second. Here's another facilities manager. So I'm not going to connect with them now. I'm just doing my research. I'm not ready to do my outreach. I want to probably do a little bit more research on the company or the House of Lords in this case, but I'm just going to put them into my spreadsheet so I can do this later. Now, let's say that I'm looking for partnerships. So I want to reach out to B2B tech people, specifically for Speak on Podcasts. I can see Kate S here works in tech B2B PR. She could be a good person for me to speak to. So I'm just going to click on the Zap again, potential prospects or connections, and going to type PR partner. There it is. Going to hit send. And again, just within a few seconds, we'll get a tick. One more just for the example. So Helen is somebody actually I know. I think we worked in the same company, but I'm going to also add Helen to here as well. So what you'll see in the spreadsheet is that it eventually will update and add in to the spreadsheet here. So I just had to pause the recording there just so it would have time to refresh. And you can see now that I've got the reason and the LinkedIn URL. So the automation has already automatically taken in the link of the website that I was on, which in this case was the profiles of the people that I wanted to reach out to. So come Monday morning, when I'm going to start doing my research, I can just go through here and I already have a bit of a head start. So that's one way you can use it. The other way that I like to use it is for interesting content. So if I come across content for SDRs around cold email and prospecting or sequences or even mindset stuff, I always want to make sure that I'm keeping a log of it, because then I can use that data and information to influence the courses that I teach on outbound prospecting, of course, giving credit to the people where I've discovered it. So using a very similar process, once I find a piece of content that I really think would be valuable, I am going to save it to a spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet here, you can see a few examples already. You've got the category and then the post URL. And I can always come back, and if I'm looking for inspiration or want to update any of the course content or learn a little bit more about myself, about cold email or the SDR role or sequences, I could just come here and click on the link and find it. But let's quickly show you how to do that. So Sarah Brazier wrote a really good article that got pretty good traction about cold email. So I'm going to click on the Chrome extension. I'm going to put in interesting content, and I'm just going to type in cold email. Again, this categorization is just mine. It doesn't have to be the same for you, but I'm going to hit send, and that should update the spreadsheet shortly. This one is on cold calling, so I'm going to add that again, following the same process. Interesting content, cold calls. And there's one more example, which is about emails again, so cold email. So I'm going to click here, from Will, cold email. Excuse the spelling. Cool. And if I click on here, you'll see that it's adding this all automatically. So I can do this on an ongoing basis. And the genius about having automation set up like this is, as long as you remember to use them, you can save time each day, each week, each month that you're working as well. So whilst it might seem like, well, why don't you just copy and paste it? It actually takes a lot of time to copy and paste, and it also disrupts your flow when you are researching as well. So having these automations working for you in the background save a little bit of time each time, but it does compound over the months that you're working as well. So that's just a very quick overview of Zapier. It can do thousands, if not millions, of things for you. So if you have any questions about Zapier, please do let me know. If you want me to set up another type of Zap or you have an automation in mind, let me see if it's possible and I can record a video. Cheers all, take care.